Okay, I think it's time we finally talk about my $300 solo dinner at one of the hottest and most talked about steakhouses in Las Vegas, Bugsy Meyer's at the Flamingo. It is absolutely the best place to eat at the Flamingo, and it is considered one of the top steakhouses in Las Vegas. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how it rates against the big dogs, the SWs, the Primes, the Bazaar Meats, and I'm also going to tell you the secret spot to eat at Bugsy Meyer's. There's a really cool secret spot that you have to request, but if you do it, I think you're going to be highly, highly appreciative of that. So I'm going to get right into it. Bugsy Meyer's kind of has a throwback theme. You got to remember that the Flamingo was built pre-1950s. It's one of the oldest hotels in Las Vegas, and it was actually founded by organized crime. And Bugsy Meyer's pretty much pays homage to that. So it's a throwback theme with a modern overtone. It is beautiful inside. I think they really perfectly blend old and new, and they pretty much created a steakhouse ambiance that's really unparalleled anywhere else in Las Vegas. What makes it cool is that there are multiple dining rooms. There's kind of like an open air dining room that's right off the casino. Then they kind of have a traditional dining area. Then there are private dining rooms, which are really cool. And then, of course, you can always dine at the bar and lounge area. So no matter what your mood is, you're going to be able to find a pretty comfortable spot to eat at Bugsy Meyer's. So you walk up, and the place does kind of give you a throwback old school theme. It's kind of like a meat market when you walk in. And then as you get around that meat market, you walk past the kitchen where they have their beautiful steaks on display. I think that is always a sign of a traditional steakhouse when they have the meats on display. I feel like all the old school steakhouses do that, so I thought that was really neat. Of course, I decided to eat at the bar and lounge area, which I thought was beautiful. Again, I think it's a perfect blend of kind of like a throwback old school theme with a modern overtone. This place is brand new. It's spick and span. It's fresh. It's clean. It's vibrant. It's classy. It's upscale, but also approachable. So let's get to my dinner. The first thing I did, as I normally do, is order a cocktail. I'm always looking for the coolest cocktails on the list. So the first drink I ordered was a Mother Superior. I love that name. It is definitely a taste of the islands. It is a rum drink. It has white rum. It has dark rum, pineapple juice, and grenadine. This thing is beautiful, and it was the best tasting drink of the night. For $16, I think that money was well spent. My first appetizer of the night was the heirloom beet and squash. It had honey yogurt goat cheese, not just goat cheese, but honey yogurt goat cheese, candied pecans, and then toasted pumpkin seeds, and of course, heirloom beet and squash. This dish was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I thought that this was going to be probably my favorite dish of the night, and it was probably my least favorite. It just wasn't as fresh as I thought it would be. Still, for $21, I thought it was a pretty decent dish. This next dish, however, potentially was my favorite of the night. Perhaps you're like me, and these are definitely first world problems. I really can't decide between lobster cocktail, shrimp cocktail, or crab. And luckily, they make the decision for you. This is the Cadillac. So you get all three in this thing. You get poached Maine lobster, you get shrimp, you get king crab. I like how it is topped off with a little bit of seaweed. There's cocktail sauce, Dijon mayonnaise. You're definitely going to pay for it. This dish was $42. I think that's really expensive for an appetizer. But like I said, this could potentially be my favorite dish of the entire meal. I think it's absolutely the appetizer to order if you're coming to Bugsy Meyer's. So I've been on a bit of an old-fashioned kick during this trip. I've definitely ordered a lot of them, and I'd say the majority of them have been smoked. I love a proper smoked old-fashioned. This one takes it to the next level, though, because this is a make-your-own old-fashioned. You get to choose the spirit, which type of bourbon you want. You get to choose the citrus. You get to choose the bitters, and you get to choose the syrup. They put them all together for you, bring it tableside, pour it in front of you, and then smoke it in front of you. I think this is a phenomenal idea. It is an outstanding experience, especially because you have some ownership of what goes into that cocktail. The price was $30, and I thought that was excellent, given it was an upper-end old-fashioned where you get to choose the ingredients and they smoke it in front of you. It was a fantastic experience. So apparently Bugsy Meyer's is one of the hottest new steakhouses. It's one of the best steakhouses. I had to put it to the test. They had a steak on there that was screaming at me. It was a 60-day dry-aged bone-in ribeye. So not wet-aged, dry-aged. Not 30-day, 60-day, not just a piece of meat, but bone-in. This thing was supposed to be my everything, and I gotta say, the hype was real. Now, you need to be careful when you order a 60-day dry-aged ribeye because it's not going to taste like a typical or normal steak. It's going to be a little bit chewier. It's going to be a little bit drier. It's not going to be as succulent, and it's going to have a completely different flavor profile. It is the steak to order if you have discerning steak taste. But if you don't have a lot of experience with steaks that are aged past 30 days, you should be warned. The flavor could be something that needs to take a little bit of getting used to. It had great marbling on it. It was definitely a flavor explosion. And I did pay extra for a flight of sauces. I chose the Béarnaise, the Bordelaise, and the bourbon peppercorn. But I gotta say, I really didn't even touch the sauces. I didn't need any extra flavor with that steak. So I had one okay appetizer, one really great appetizer, two excellent cocktails, and a 60-day dry-aged bone-in ribeye, which you rarely see on a steakhouse menu. I wanted to keep the momentum going. I did something I rarely do, and that is order dessert. Of course, I inquired what their best dessert was, what the most popular dessert was, or the dessert that they're known for, and it came back pretty emphatically that it was Bugsy's Baked Alaska. Now, I'm always a fan of ordering a dish or a drink that has the restaurant's namesake in it. This one definitely did, Bugsy's Baked Alaska, so I ordered it, and it's basically like a toasted meringue with passion fruit and almond clusters. The coolest thing, in my opinion, is the experience. It comes out with the dry ice, and it's smoky. It was a decent dessert. I thought for $17 it was overpriced, but it was definitely a great capstone to a pretty good dinner. So that's pretty much my dinner. The only thing I haven't discussed that's on this bill is my $9 Aquapana water. So I talked about the Mother Superior drink. That was $16. The Beet and Pumpkin was $22. The Cadillac cocktail was $43. The Make Your Old Fashioned was $30. The 20-ounce dry-aged ribeye was $83. The flight of sauces was another $16, and then dessert was a $17 on top of that. The subtotal was $235. Tax was another $20 on top of that, so the total was $255. I tipped about 19.5% because the bill came in exactly at $300. So that was Bugsy Meyers. You saw what the restaurant looked like. You saw the dishes that I ordered. You saw how much it cost. Now the most important thing, was it worth it? How does it rank? I think it's potentially a top 10 steakhouse in Las Vegas. I wasn't blown away. I wasn't overly impressed. I also wasn't underwhelmed at all. It wasn't a lackluster experience. I thought it was, a borderline top 10 Las Vegas experience. It probably could break into the top 10 if I really thought about it. But compared to the Bellagio Primes, the SWs, the Bazaars, the Wolfgang Puck Cuts, the Bavettes, the Berries, the Vic and Anthony's, I think it's just a step behind in all of those in terms of the food quality. I thought the cocktail list was creative. I thought the menu had some interesting things on it that I haven't really seen before. But when the whole experience comes together, it's just a slight step behind the leader steakhouses in Las Vegas. And then lastly, if you're coming to Bugsy Meyers, where should you sit? Where should you eat? Should you eat in the open air dining area? Should you eat in the traditional dining area? Should you get a private dining room? Or should you eat in the bar and lounge? And my answer to all of those is none of them. Don't eat at any of them because there is a secret spot to eat and drink at Bugsy Meyers, and that is their speakeasy. Their speakeasy is all the way in the back. All you need to do is ask them about it and phone in ahead of time. Unfortunately, it was not open at the time when I was eating there, but they took me back there, showed me all of it, told me some history, and said you can absolutely eat and drink back there. So to me, that is definitely the coolest spot to eat, and it's absolutely where I would eat if I was going to have another dinner at Bugsy and Meyers.